But what is getting a lot of attention this morning, certainly here on this show, is just how much money Donald John Trump has raked in since returning to the Oval Office. According to his 927-page annual financial disclosure, which was released late yesterday, the president reported eye-popping earnings of $1.4 billion in cryptocurrency alone related income last year. He earned $635 million from his meme coin, and he pulled in more than $500 million from token sales and $65 million from selling an equity stake related to World Liberty Financial. That, of course, is the crypto company he co-founded with his sons. And that is just the crypto dough. Trump's reported income source passed $2.2 billion when you include his real estate holdings, various legal settlements, his books, and merchandise. Note that for all of the year 2024, his enterprises pulled in $622 million. Just moments ago, the president was asked about that financial report and his earnings, and here's what he said.
I don't get involved in my personal. We have funds that run my money.
But you are benefiting.
Well, I've made a lot of money before I became president, and they invest my money, and I don't talk to them. I don't even speak to them.
To critics who say you're profiting off the presidency, Mr.
Well, you know why I'm profiting? Because the stock market's going up. Everybody's profiting.
Not everybody's profiting. And one thing that is critical to keep in mind, the president is now a major crypto industry operator, and essentially he's its top policymaker. Now, I want you to remember that these aren't just my questions in this show. I want to know what yours are. What do you want to know about the president's financial disclosure, about yesterday's Supreme Court decisions, or anything else in the political or business sphere? What do you want to know? Scan the QR code on your screen. Send us those questions. We're going to try to get to them later in the program. But for now, let's get smarter with the help of our lead-off panel. Justin Wolfers joins us, professor of economics and public policy at the University of Michigan. Natasha Surin, president of the Budget Lab at Yale University and former Treasury official. And Andrew Ross Sorkin, you know him, a financial columnist for the New York Times. He co-founded DealBook, and of course, he's the co-anchor of CNBC's Squawk Box. He just left his show to join ours. So, Andrew, you haven't even had time to stretch, but I need you to lay this out for us. Just the crypto. $1.4 billion in crypto, an industry he once called a scam and a disaster waiting to happen. What do you make of this? Lay it out.
Well, look, the biggest issue within the crypto question is where all the money came from. Some of this money came from the UAE, which took a stake in his family's company. Would have they taken that stake in the company if he was not the president? Was there anything, asked for in return? Even if there wasn't something asked for in return, was it clearly an effort to influence the president in some way? And I think, even if you put aside the very real issue of an actual conflict, the perception of a conflict, the fact that we are having this conversation ultimately undermines our democracy. And our belief in the integrity of the system. And that's what I would implore more than anything else. All of these questions that we have, I'm sure there will be investigations, there will be hearings over time about all of this. But underneath it all, the fact that we're even having this conversation is the challenge. And whether we need either more rules, enforcement of current rules, the Emolument Clause being one of them, so that we don't have to be even having this very discussion.
Okay, well, not just rules around conflicts of interest. How about regulating the industry? I want to share what former top White House lawyer Ty Cobb said about Trump's crypto earnings. Watch this.
With regard to the crypto, obviously that's, it's a slimy industry. Certainly the way he's going around it, where he creates policies that can only enrich himself and his family, is something that I think the average American should be staggered by. But you mentioned the scale, and I think the scale here is just it's intentional. There's no question. I mean, we are seeing the greatest onslaught of corruption in the history of mankind. This is somebody who every day is devoted to the accumulation of wealth and power.
Given Trump has installed key people in regulatory roles at the SEC and the CFTC, doesn't this raise a huge issue, Natasha, that he is making all of this money, that he is now a major investor, a major player in crypto, and he's the policymaker?
It raises a huge set of issues. And by the way, in general, for government officials, you are actually not allowed to be actively investing in areas where you are actively regulating or involved in policymaking. The president has previously said that he is exempt from these rules that apply to everyone who works for him. But again, I think a bunch of what Andrew is describing is really at the heart of this. This is a president who won his reelection on the promise that he was going to make America richer and more affordable for everyday Americans. And what they're watching and observing is him making himself, he and his family making himself richer at turn after turn. This is a report just a few weeks ago we got, remember, about active stock trading in the president's portfolio that had hundreds of trades in just the first quarter of this year. And so all of these raise questions that aren't just about where are these resources coming from, what types of conflicts exist, but also kind of fundamental questions about our democracy and fairness that I worry that are going to take quite some time to actually play out in practice.
Justin, to be clear, crypto could still be a disaster waiting to happen. According to Reuters, the crypto venture alone delivered $2.3 billion to Trump and company while creating similar losses for investors.
Yeah. So I think that's a really important part of the president's business operation. This is not a guy who's creating a better widget that enriches people's lives and therefore the company wins when the customer wins. When you're making financial bets like this, every dollar that's going into the Trump family accounts is a dollar leaving the accounts of the poor suckers who are on the other side of that bet. It's not just that, though, Steph. Our democracy is not built for this sort of money. Let me just juxtapose two numbers. The president made roughly $2 billion in the first year of his presidency. Total funding by Republicans to buy that presidency was less than $2 billion. So what that has basically said is buying the next election, you will earn it all back in the first of your 4-year term. If there's anyone out there with a little bit of entrepreneurial spirit, go buy yourself an election. It's now so profitable. It's the most profitable investment you can make.